There's No Place Like Home by Maria and Ellie. In a farmhouse in Kansas lives a girl named Dorothy. She lives with her Aunt Em, Uncle Henry, and her dog Toto. Dorothy was always one to overthink and worry about everything, especially about the thoughts of being in a new place with strangers. One day, there was a huge tornado that swept her house up and blew it to a faraway land. Dorothy, feeling uneasy and disoriented, hesitantly steps outside. Her heart sank when she saw that everything was different, and she now found herself in an unfamiliar place. Dorothy, distressed, exclaims to her dog, "I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto." All of a sudden, a strange, beautiful woman wearing a big pink dress and crown and waving a wand appears. With a shaky voice and heart pounding, Dorothy asks the woman, "Who are you and where are we?" "I am Glenda, a good witch, and you are in Oz," explains Glenda. "How will I ever get home?" Dorothy asked, panicked. Her thoughts began spiraling. "You must talk to the Wizard of Oz. You need only follow the yellow brick road and take those ruby red slippers. They will help you along the way." Dorothy and Toto set off down the yellow brick road. After a ways of walking, Dorothy notices a scarecrow. The scarecrow made a noise, and so Dorothy stopped in her tracks and wondered how she could swiftly walk past without having to interact with him. With her anxiety slowly starting to rise, she starts to quickly walk past the scarecrow. "Hey, please help me," yells the scarecrow. Dorothy winces and stops in her tracks. "How can I help?" she stutters. Dorothy. "Please get me down from this wooden beam." Dorothy pauses for a second and debates helping, but the thought of being judged and chastised for saying no wins the argument, and so she walks closer to the scarecrow. Her hands are shaking as she removes the nails that hold the scarecrow in place. "Thank you. Where are you going now?" asks the scarecrow. "I'm off to see the Wizard of Oz so I can finally go home," says Dorothy. "Can I come with you? I really need his help, but I'm too embarrassed to ask him for confidence myself," said the scarecrow. Dorothy started to break into a sweat and feel heat flashes at the thought of a stranger keeping her company. She does want to help, however. "Yes, you can come," Dorothy says reluctantly. They both start walking down the yellow brick road. After a brief time, they come upon a man made of tin, rusted in place. Dorothy pretends she does not see him. The tin man suddenly starts squeaking, trying to speak. Dorothy once again is met with hot flashes and nervousness when faced with the decision to walk past or say hello. The scarecrow's face turns red hot with embarrassment at the thought of having to speak to the tin man and say something wrong. They walk slowly up to the tin man and find an oil can lying nearby. Dorothy fights through her knees and applies it to the tin man's joints, hoping it would solve the problem and end the interaction. The tin man sheepishly says, "Thank you so much." "Where are you walking to?" "We're going to see the wizard," says the scarecrow with his head hung low. The tin man is quiet for a while, deciding whether he should ask to come with them or not, out of fear of being rejected. "If it would not be too much trouble, could I join you?" the tin man finally asks. Dorothy nods, feeling unable to say no, as her heart pounds more. The three set off once again down the yellow brick road. Suddenly they hear a roaring in the distance. As they slowly walk closer, they see a lion hiding behind the trees. Dorothy, the scarecrow, and the tin man stop in their tracks, anxious about the source of the noise where the roaring stops as well. Dorothy starts to feel dizzy at this point, and her hot and cold flashes begin again. As she creeps closer, trying to go around whatever made the noise, she notices a lion trembling in fear. "Hi there, are you all right?" asks Scarecrow. The lion does not speak, but moves further back into the trees. Dorothy turns away and is about to continue walking when the lion finally says, "Who are you and where are you going?" "I'm Dorothy, and we're going to see the Wizard of Oz to see if he can help us." "Maybe he can help with my fear," says the lion. All of them start walking down the path. Suddenly, they hear a loud cackling and see a witch whizzing through the sky around them. The lion runs and hides in the trees again as he wants to avoid the witch at all costs. The other three stand frozen in place. Dorothy's mind and heart are racing, and her stomach feels like it's in knots. The witch lands and begins inspecting Dorothy's ruby red slippers. "Where did you get those shoes? They were my sister's. Give them here at once," ordered the Wicked Witch of the West. "If you do not hand them over, I'll make sure you never get home." Terrified, Dorothy almost jumps out of her shoes and runs away when the scarecrow suddenly ran over and poured a pail of water on the witch. I'm melting, cries the witch as she slowly disappears. The group, frozen for a minute, wondering if it was over, keeps walking until they finally come to Emerald City. Once inside, they go to meet the wizard. "I am the great and powerful Oz. Who enters?" roars the wizard. The lion tries to run away as the others grab him and keep him still. "I am Dorothy, and I want to go home. I do not want to be in this strange and new place with strangers anymore," she said, choking back tears. "I'm Scarecrow, and I want to stop being easily embarrassed. I am Tin Man, and I do not want to fear rejection anymore. I am Lion, and I do not want to be afraid anymore." The wizard thinks for a while, then finally speaks. "All of your feelings are real. None of these feelings are bad or the culprit. We need to change your thought distortions about your ability to socially interact and the behaviors that were developed and reinforced as a result of them. I recommend meditation, increasing your cognitive flexibility, and trying to interact with others, little by little." And Dorothy, you went on this adventure far from home, all by yourself, having to face a new place and all kinds of new people, yet here you still stand. Dorothy silently let his words sink in. "You've gone through a lot, so it's time you go home. All you have to do is click your heels 3 times and repeat, 'There's no place like home.'" And so, Dorothy woke up safely at home, gained insight into her behavior, and began trying to change. The end.